It's like a subwater forest from the Vietnamese jungle. And there's the same sun, the same sky, the same earth. The family's home was Pham Chuan's star town and its environs. If they've met. Soviet cosmonaut Viktor Gorbachev, who had twice been in Earth orbit, and a Vietnamese pilot who had dreamed of a space road since childhood. About his carpet in preparation for a joint flight into space, Viktor and Pham. Everyone was getting to know each other better. The commander of Gorbachev appeared at the Cosmonaut Training Center more than 20 years ago with the first Gagarin recruitment. It's footage of the film of the first astronaut squad. He was at the command post during the first man's launch into space. But he was the one who failed. While preparing for flight, as a backup, Viktor did not remove his heart from overwork, and the door to space closed for him.
However, by bringing together the will and the courage, he fought for several years for the right to return to service.
And the hour came when the doctors again declared him perfectly healthy. For the astronaut, it was a feat comparable to what the pilot Alexei Morasev did during the war. Now, preparing for the third flight, Ko led a Vietnamese friend through classes, coaches, exams, and became increasingly aware that he could count on his professionalism and resilience under any circumstances. Antoine was born in a country with 30 years of weapons, where millions of people are engaged in daily work. It's the same time to go through the yellow struggle for independence. In December of the 72nd year, during the Hanna attack on American flying fortresses, Antoine was the first to rise to the sky. When he returned, he saw the ground dug with craters instead of a landing strip, and the fuel was running out, so he had to sit down. The fighter hit the edge of the vortex in a moment and jumped over 300 meters and hit again. Chuan was a miracle alive. He told his comrades how he managed to get away from the phantom fire that guarded the bombers, how he caught up with the flying fortress and knocked it down. It was the first bomber of 52, destroyed in Vietnam sky. USA, barely able to escape on a parachute, couldn't believe he was hit by a young Vietnamese pilot. I'm glad I told Gorbachev during the most difficult training. There was a man like Pham Chuan with me. Nymph will not burn in the fire, nor will he drown in the water. In July of the 80th year, Viktor Gorbachev and Pham Chuan entered space for peaceful scientific research on the Interspace program. They were expected to work together on a long-term Salyut station of 6, where Leonid Popov and Valerievna had worked for several months. They want us all to go. Yeah. That's the first year. May I? This one. It's an aspect. Just an hour after arriving at Victor and Pham's station, you could already see it in the file. With the help of the main crew, they conducted a series of experiments on the melting plant. At the same time, Victor and Pandili work with onboard Astra's physical instruments. By helping them, the owners of the station have changed the orbital complex in space many times. Spectre 15, created by Bulgarian scientists, provided unique spectrograms of the upper layers of the Earth's atmosphere. Each time the station flew over Vietnam, the astronauts removed its coastal areas. These images will be of great benefit to Vietnamese fishermen and will inform them of plankton's migration and thus fish joints. A giant siphon was also filmed. The flight of the Soviet island crew coincided with a period of heavy rains in Vietnam. The study of typhoons with a view to projecting them is invaluable to the Vietnamese people Yapo's economy. The scientists of Vietnam instructed Victor Ivan to investigate the ash of rice fields and a weightless behavior. After all, a cola can make valuable components out of the air. One could be useful to have as a source of life support for cosmonauts in the long-term expeditions of the future. One day went by, and for Victor and Fram, 8 days work week in space before going to the planet. Shut up. They worked together as one person, performed 30 experiments, conducted scientific, technological, and medical biological studies prepared by specialists from the USSR and Vietnam, with the active participation of scientists from others. Rescue Center for their dedicated work, which ensured the success of their work, and landing in a designated area. Swan. The 26th day of August was a big holiday in the lives of cosmonaut friends. At the award ceremony, the Secretary General of the Central Committee of the Soviet Union, Leonid Ilyich Brezhnev, Chairman of the Presidency of the Supreme Soviet of the USSR, noted that the Soviet Vietnamese crew had carried out its space flight excellently. Twice the hero of the Soviet Union, a Soviet astronaut, Viktor Vasilyevich Korakov, was awarded Cosmonaut. A researcher of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam FEM. Chuan has been promoted to the hero of the Soviet Union. Our homeland generously shares its scientific and technological achievements with other countries. Its founder of the Soviet state, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. As the closest of kin, the heroes of the cosmos on Vietnam's earth met them. The Presidential Palace, Chairman of the Standing Committee of the National Assembly of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, Chung Tin handed over to the Soviet and first Vietnamese astronauts the golden medals of the Heroes of the Labor of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam and the Order of Ho Chi Minh. The Socialist Republic of Vietnam also received awards from the head of training for Soviet astronauts, the General Lieutenant of Aviation, and the captain will be Han Liam, the duplicate of the cosmonaut Chuan. Everything in Ho Chi Minh's life has been carefully preserved here. Noting the 90 years since the birth of the loyal Lenin of the founding members of the Communist Party of Vietnam, space heroes have donated to the museum a portrait of Ho Chi Minh. An old Vietnamese communist who had been in orbit with them remembered the words of Ho Chi Minh on the day of Yuri Gagarin's flight. Soviet man went into space. He's gonna fly to Vietnam. I served as Commander Lieutenant Colonel F. Antoine, the hero of space. The battle banner hit by enemy bullets was warmly welcomed. At the many thousand meetings dedicated to the 35th anniversary of the victory of the Vietnamese Revolution, plant and factory representatives spoke in heaven of the brave son of Vietnam with the Soviet brothers, not just a happy accident, but the law, perhaps, the continuation of the Earth Yapos' long-standing friendship of the peoples of the shrugged and socialist dynamo. The successful completion of the Soviet-Vietnamese expedition was a celebration of the peoples of all socialist countries, as their space family was joined by another sun. Following 5 international interspace missions, the participation of the Soviet cosmonauts, the Czechoslovak researchers, more, the German Democratic Republic of Bulgaria, Hungary, the Socialist Republic launched the space launch. That's clear. Come on in. Broke business. Change. Come on. You. It was hard for them to break up, but everyone would keep a warm, grateful feeling for each other. Antoine will always remember the days spent among the Soviet people. Viktor Gorbatko will never forget the hospitality of a beautiful ancient land. It's my friend's birthplace.